Welcome to Intuitive Seek. My name is Mary Train, and as an intuitive guide, energy healer, and meditation teacher, I aim to bring you a grounded approach to all things energy and intuition. Everything I share is with the hope to help you remember how your unique power of intuition is your own greatest teacher. Hello and welcome. Welcome to your Intuitive Week, your energy update for the week of October 20th. We start out this week with a new moon, a new cycle, and this new week feels really lovely. Hopefully, you feel that too. And I will share more about the week ahead. But first, I did want to remind you, if you haven't purchased your ticket yet for this Saturday, October 25th, I'm hosting my Be Your Own Oracle workshop. This is a workshop all about being your own oracle. Yes, learning how to work with your intuitive oracle energy and really reclaim your power, because your unique energy holds such a wealth of knowledge and guidance and clarity. And the more I'm feeling into this workshop and excited about it, I really understand more about how being your own oracle, learning these unique ways to tap into your own wealth of wisdom, is like a medicine for that kind of seductive convenience of all of the AI assistants and chatbots that are becoming more and more synonymous with our everyday lives. So, yes, it is more important than ever to balance outsourcing with insourcing, insourcing your power to balance the outsourcing of knowledge. So please join this workshop if you want to get the answers you are seeking anytime, anywhere. If you are always asking for signs, but then another sign and another sign and another sign, like not really trusting the signs. If you want to just build your trust in your intuition and some intuitive development sounds really fun to you, and also understanding how your own language of your intuition, how it speaks, being able to translate it. This is definitely for you as well if you spend more time thinking about things than doing, and if you really want a new go-to when you're feeling stuck or confused or uncertain. So please join us. I cannot wait. Go to the link in the show notes where you will find everything you need to know to sign up. And feel free to message me as well if you have any questions or anything you want to share about it. But hopefully you can join live. If not, you will have access to the replay. And I hope to see you on Saturday. And a quick welcome to anyone who is new to listening, and welcome back to anyone who has already been here. I appreciate all of you so, so much. And for anyone new, the way I receive these energy updates, these energy impressions, is I go into a nice, deep meditation with the intention to receive insight, guidance, messages, symbols, anything that I can translate for us that will help us navigate through the week with more intention and more clarity, hopefully to help us remember something that we may have forgotten, to help us connect to a knowing that will really serve us and serve everyone through the week. So as you listen, really trust what resonates and leave what doesn't. Here we go, your energy update for the week of October 20th. So the first thing that came through in the meditation, as soon as I opened it up, was a strong sensation, not even a soft tension, but a really strong pressure within the heart space. And the clarity and message that I received about this pressure in the heart space is that something happened with our hearts last week or over the month, but it does feel like last week that For some of us, our hearts really opened up, stretched, and we are now really feeling the impact of that, of the stretching and the opening of our heart space. That so many of us are open more than ever to receive, to really lead and live and be guided by our hearts. And maybe you have already been feeling like you've been doing that, but it does feel like this week there may be a shift, some truth around what our hearts know is going to be revealed. And if you do feel a bit of discomfort or pressure within your heart space, pay attention to what you're opening up to. Where are you expanding? What are you feeling like, oh, now it's ready. Now it's ready for me to move, to go into, to jump into, to leap even. Something our hearts are ready for. Our hearts are really opened up to receive something new, maybe something we've been waiting for. So, how does your heart feel different? That could be a really important thing to connect to this week. How does your heart feel different? And not just your physical heart, but your heart field, your heart energy center, your chakra, the whole width and expansion all around you. What does that heart space feel like? And how does it feel different? And then in the meditation, we move to an image, a visual of a person representing us. And this was really lovely because it was surprising. I will say it was surprising because this person was twirling and clapping and moving. They were dancing, but more dancing out of need, like the body needed to move. And this felt like more support for how open and kind of stretched our heart space has become, more open to receive, that the movement is needed to kind of integrate all of that energy that has expanded. It felt like that movement, the body movement, if possible, it could be very supportive this week. That for many of us, it makes sense. After all of the clearing and opening of our heart and our root, right? Like it's time to get to know your body and this new energy and the dancing and the twirling and this feeling of just like being here, being in the moment, being in the present, feeling connected, not having a space between your head and your heart, having that harmony, feeling the harmony and dancing to it. That feels like such an opportunity that we have this week. So this week, if you don't know what to do, if you're feeling uncertain or stuck or confused even, start dancing. Do a little twirl. Even dance in your chair. There is some dancing that needs to happen. This is like a dancing prescription. That's what it feels like. So take it if it resonates and do it. And then the next thing that came through in the meditation was a scene of a person representing us playing a game. And it's the game of jacks, where you have the bouncing ball and then there's kind of the little metal things or other material, but you bounce the ball and then you try to grab as many as you can before it bounces again. I feel like that's what it is, but that's how it was working in the meditation. And this game, this representation, this symbol, it felt like a symbol of what not to do this week. Don't try to get everything done in a certain time limit. Some of us may feel like we have that bouncing ball, just like allotting a certain amount of time. Get it done. Oh, you missed your chance. Oh, you didn't get that. almost like this taskmaster is with us this week. And this symbolism of this game, it feels like, again, to add more joy and dance and twirling to our week, lighten it up a bit, but also to focus on one thing or two things if you need to. Don't try to get it all done and finished and put away. This is a new week. There is so much potential. There is a lot of energy supporting our work on all levels of our energy, not just in career. So whether your to-do list or projects or anything that is unfinished is kind of weighing on you, pick one or two at the most. It feels like the ball bouncing in the air while we're trying to grab everything, that could also be us. That feeling of being suspended in the air, not being able to get grounded and just like started. And that feels like a big call if you need, and pay attention, and two, if you need it, to get grounded, to make sure that you are leaning into your grounding practices so that you're not kind of stuck in the air when you're trying to get everything done. Focus on one task. Do some dancing. That can also be incredibly grounding. I know that there are so many different practices of ecstatic dance and different ways to kind of be out of body, but that's not what the dancing that I saw in the meditation was like. It was twirling and stomping and clapping and being in the body. So how can you be more grounded and embodied so that you can focus on that one thing to really take advantage of this sparkling electric potential of this new week? And before I share the animal that came through to inspire us for the week ahead, I wanted to touch on the new moon that begins this week. On the 21st, it's the new moon in Libra, and Eliza Kelly, the astrologer, and maybe some of you joined my Meet Your Future Self workshop that I hosted in her Constellation Club. But she reminded us that it has been since September 2022 that we had a new moon in Libra that wasn't an eclipse. So this may be a really good time to look back at that time in 2022, around September, to see what was happening. Maybe you're going to be relaunching something that you started back then. Maybe you're going to be starting the project that you were thinking about and then it kind of got away from you. Maybe you're going to reach out to that person. Maybe there's a relationship that needs mending that kind of started to fall apart or lose touch in 2022 in the fall. And now it's time to restore that harmony, to reconnect. And we can be inspired by the themes and the energy and the archetypal energy around Libra, where it's all about beauty ruled by Venus, but also balance. And in a new moon, we have that energy of potential, of news cycle, of planting seeds that will bloom, full intention. That's what we can do for this week. Setting beautiful intentions. And because this energy is so much about balance and harmony, it's important to look on the opposite of that. So asking yourself, where do you need more balance? Where are you giving too much or holding yourself back? Bringing in that harmony within. But first, you have to know what that feels like. So maybe doing a little slight inventory in your life and seeing what feels off, what is out of habit, but is not for you any longer. We have changed so much this year, so much over the last few months, over the last few weeks. There's nothing short of change that this year has not given us. And this time, this week, it feels like the intentions that we set, where we focus our energy, it is supported. So what are you going to do? What are you going to honor? What are you going to plant? What do you want to grow? This new moon energy is really giving us a chance to make space for that. And then the animal of this week of October 20th, it was a surprising animal. I mean, everything was kind of a surprise for the meditation when I was writing it down afterwards. And the animal was a green scarab beetle. You may have seen them in a lot of Egyptian iconography, but this is an incredible animal energy. It's an insect, but we'll call it an animal. And beautiful energy that is really aligned with everything else that we have connected to for this week. And as I share more details around what this energy represents, pay attention to the words that I say and how they pertain to you, where they resonate in your own life. What does it make you think of? What does it bring you to? So the green scarab beetle represents the energy of new beginnings, rebirth, transformation, synchronicities, good luck, abundance, fertility, protection, resilience, and sensitivity, intuitive perception. And I wanted to share a little bit more about the scarab beetle. And this comes from Britannica.com about ancient Egyptian religion. In ancient Egyptian religion, it is an important symbol. This symbol is associated with divine manifestation, the divine manifestation of the early morning sun. Khepri, whose name was written with the scarab hieroglyph, was believed to roll the disk of the morning sun over the eastern horizon at daybreak. Since the scarab hieroglyph refers to the ideas of existence, manifestation, development, growth, and effectiveness, the beetle itself was a form used for amulets in all periods of Egyptian history. And another aspect of the green scarab, and you may have remembered this because the one thing I forgot to mention is we had this animal, insect, at the beginning of January this year. So a real shift in energy, a restart, a revisit, a relaunch. There is something we get to do again, another chance. That's what it feels like. And the other part of the green scarab is Jung, Carl Jung. He is famous for so many things: shadow work, symbolism, dream work. He was the kind of foil to Freud. But in Carl Jung's work, the green scarab beetle symbolizes synchronicity, the idea of meaningful coincidences, that they are manifestations of a deeper order in the universe. And the story goes that a patient of his described a dream of a scarab. And as the patient was describing the dream, Jung heard a tapping on the window. And then when he opened the window, he caught this goldish green scarab beetle. And then he gave it to the patient. And so that really helped the patient break down her rational thinking and connect to her dream world, connecting her dream world to her waking life. The image of the beetle that appeared in his patient's dream, it appeared also in physical waking life in the consulting room. And because of that amazement, of that realization of this co-creative world that we live in, really connecting to the magic of our universe, that triggered a very positive psychological change, according to the story. So this also feels like the scarab is reminding us to open ourselves up to awe, to look for meaningful coincidences, to ask for signs and symbols, to really pay attention. Because when we are paying attention to that, regardless whether you worry about whether it's real or not, you're leaning into possibility. You're leaning into something that sounds improbable, but then you get to experience it. And then that meaning helps you create more meaning in your life. So, really connecting to the magic of the universe this week. That feels like such a big aspect of how we can connect to this real electric potential. And the perfect season for it as we lead up to Halloween, Samhain, because I believe this magic is with us always, that we always have the ability to tap into it, that there is no thinning or thickening of any veil, that it's all about our perception. But in October, especially the end of October, we can be supported by the collective focus to make space for it and use that natural part of our intuitive energy to find and receive these meaningful synchronicities and coincidences, these parts of our waking life that feel magical. Lean into it. Lean into the magic. Why not? Why not? And now let me share some journal prompts, writing prompts, soul questions. You can use them to write, or you can use them in a voice note to yourself, or just to ponder, whatever feels good. Answer one or all or none. Trust what resonates. So the first question this week could be, how does your heart feel different than before? Describe anything that comes to you. And then, what does your description tell you? And then number 2, and this is more of an active prompt that I was inspired to share. First, write down how you feel in the moment. What emotions or physical feelings in your body that you're experiencing, just very quickly, the stream of consciousness. How are you feeling? Emotionally, physically, mentally? And then for 30 seconds, you can put a little timer on your phone if you want. Start twirling and dancing and stomping and clapping. And then revisit how you feel. What changed? And how can this insight help you? And then a third question, what is ready to revisit, relaunch, or reunite in your life? What is ready to revisit, relaunch, or reunite in your life? And why now? And then the fourth, choose a sign to ask the universe to send you this week. Ask your heart to tell you what sign that you can see in your waking reality. A sign to show up to tell you that you are on the right track, to tell you something specific that comes to you. Pick anything that comes, and then let it go out of your mind until it starts showing up. See what unfolds, but try it. If you haven't done it before or it's been a while, let the scarab beetle inspire you. Get that meaningful coincidence. Let's get as many synchronicities as possible this week. So yes, I'm excited. I'm excited about this week. I will be also answering all of these questions myself, and there are some new things I'll be sharing. So yes, I'm looking forward to it. And thank you so much for listening to this episode of Intuitive Seek. If you, again, have any thoughts or questions, please do not hesitate to send me a message. You can do that through my website, treenlight.com, or through my Instagram at treenlight. Also, if you're curious about how I can support you in any of my offerings or my workshop on Saturday, just go to the show notes and you will find all the links there to connect. Hugely appreciated if you subscribe or follow wherever you get your podcasts. And if you feel called to give a bit of extra support, you can share this episode with a friend, or you could leave a review. That would be so appreciated. So thank you again. Be extra kind to yourself, and I will talk to you next week.
Auntie Mary. I just wanted to say something very, very meaningful.